Hello everyone from Sweden. This is very serious. That's why I brought my glasses, because I've reacted to quite a few Swedish video, historical video, but I never remember anything. But this time I have decided that it's the day where my brain have a lot of storing capacity. That's why I'm tackling this video today. The full history of Sweden by history on maps. And you guys gonna need to help me out understanding. I will ask a lot of questions, guys. So, by the way, if you want to support the channel, we have a Buy Me a Coffee. For your suggestion, me with my wife, we can do one of your suggestions, yes. So let's go, and I'm gonna try my best. I have my glasses. This is serious. Let's go.
Sweden, officially the Kingdom of Sweden, is located in the eastern Scandinavian peninsula, northern Europe, bordering Norway to the west and north, Finland to the east, and Denmark to the southwest.
Okay, so it's part of Scandinavia because it's in the peninsula. This means that Finland is not inside the peninsula. Got it.
Covering an area of 447,425 square kilometers with a total population of about 10.4 million, Sweden is the largest Nordic country, the third largest country in the European Union, and the fifth largest country in Europe.
Huh. It doesn't look that big from the map. I guess it's big. Oh, I remember because of the Mercadan effect. If you put Germany, and you put it up like this, it will become smaller than Sweden, right? Is that it? The Mercadan effect or something? I think I've heard of this. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. We're learning.
Sweden has been inhabited by the Germanic peoples since prehistoric times, who emerged into history as the Geats and Swedes. During the Viking Age, many Viking expeditions set off from Sweden to both plunder and trade along the Baltic coast and the rivers that stretched deep into present-day Russia. Around the year 1000, Olaf Skotkonung became the first known king to rule both Svealand and Gotaland, two of three lands of Sweden.
Whoa, okay, got it.
Both Svealand and Gotaland, two of three lands of Sweden.
So Gotaland, is it in reference to Gotland, which is the island on the right? Is it still the name of the region? I think so, right? And then you have Svealand, where Stockholm is not that far, and then Norrland. Is Gothenburg part of Northland, or it's Gothenburg and it's still in Svealand? Okay, I don't know. Gotland has the A though, T-A instead of T-L.
During the 11th and 12th centuries, Sweden gradually became a unified Christian kingdom that later included Finland. The kings of the Uppsala city ruled most of
Wait, it was smaller then.
Modern Sweden except for the southern and western coastal regions, which remained under Danish rule.
Denmark.
In the 12th century, Sweden remained fragmented with the struggle between the Erik and Sverker clans, eventually ending with the formation of the Belgebo dynasty, which consolidated a pre-Kalmar Union Sweden into a strong state. In 1332, King Magnus IV united the kingdom with Norway and Scania, which was, at that time, part of the Kingdom of Denmark. The Black Death killed about a third of the Scandinavian population and led to a long period of economic and population decline in Sweden. After that, the alliance...
Oh man, 1/3? But it's not just of the Scandinavian, it's all around it's crazy. Think about this. We have a pandemic right now. Some years ago, something happened. We lose like 10 million people and it's the end of the world and something. Imagine losing like 2.5 billion people or something. Although, to be fair, back then, how many people were living? Like 500 million? I don't want to say something stupid. How many people were living?
Long period of economic and population decline in Sweden. After that, the alliance weakened, and Scania was lost to the Danes.
Whoa.
Following an internal power struggle in Sweden, Queen Margaret I of Denmark united Sweden, Norway, and Denmark into the Union of Kalmar in 1397.
He doesn't say Finland because Finland was part of Sweden, right? That's why Finland was disappeared from the map or something, right?
Norway and Denmark into the Union of Kalmar in 1397.
Damn.
During the 16th century, a series of rebellions eventually broke Sweden's ties to the Kalmar Union. The fighting reached a climax following the Stockholm bloodbath, a massacre of Swedish nobles in Stockholm ordered by King Christian II of Denmark in 1520.
I'm surprised at how much impact Denmark had on Sweden. When you count about how small Denmark is, it feels like he still had an immense amount of influence, because historically I've always thought that like Sweden was like the powerhouse, but I feel like Denmark, due to the Viking era, maybe Denmark had a lot of influence.
In response to this, Gustav Vasa of the Vasa noble family rose to lead the rebel movement and was crowned king in 1523, paving the way for Sweden's final secession from the Kalmar.
King Gustav I. It's the Vasa. Gustav Vasa. I didn't know that. Gustav I Vasa. It's there's a ship named after him, right? That they found 60 years ago or something.
Union.
They have
at the same time,
a museum
he encouraged
in Stockholm.
Protestant preachers, eventually breaking with the Roman Catholic Church and founding the Lutheran Church in Sweden. In 1544, medieval Sweden's elective monarchy was replaced with a hereditary monarchy under the House of Vasa, which held the Swedish throne until 1654. From the mid-16th century, Sweden...
I'm pausing again. I'm going to say something that may sound weird, but when I look at this, even though, yes, they were fighting and there was stuff, I feel like it was extremely, like the Danes and the Swedes were extremely pragmatic. It was not necessarily about like conquering. It was more so about being disciplined and having a thought process that would give us years and years and hundreds of years of like prosperity. I feel like there was a thought process behind what they were trying to achieve here, rather than just like being barbaric. Does it make sense? Like when you compare to the Ottoman Empire or others, it feels like there was a structure there that make more sense than typically what conquering mean, right? I feel like it was not the same thing.
Sought expansion into Livonia, in the territory of present-day Estonia and Latvia. But these efforts were hindered by the Russian Tsar via the Russo-Swedish War, which culminated in the Treaty of Novgorod. After Gustav's death, his oldest son Eric XIV ascended the throne. By the time of his reign, the Livonian War was fought for control over Old Livonia before the Tsardom of Russia and a varying coalition of Denmark, Norway, the Kingdom of Sweden, and the Polish-Lithuanian Union. At the conclusion of hostilities, Sweden controlled Estonia, forming the Duchy of Estonia.
Damn. Swedish Empire.
Since the dissolution of the Kalmar Union, Swedish foreign policy had been aimed at gaining control over the Baltic Sea, leading to repeated wars with Denmark from the 1560s onward.
Bro, you guys were fighting with Denmark less than 500 years ago. I don't know my own history. I think that's my biggest takeaway from this video, is that you guys were fighting with Denmark not that long ago. And it's crazy how in 2026, all the happiest and more friendly country in the world are all these countries: Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Norway. They're all the most like friendly country. It's crazy.
Under the reign of King Gustav II Adolf, Sweden gained various victories in the 30 Years' War, seizing territories from Russia and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. After defeating Denmark in two wars of 1643 and 1657, Sweden gained control over the provinces of Denmark as well as Finland and provinces in northern Germany. After the Peace of Westphalia and the Peace of Roskilde with Denmark...
It's sorry, because I cannot envision Sweden and Denmark being like fighting not only each other but fighting at all. I feel like if there's countries that are like neutral these days and like they don't want to go to war, they just want to mind their own business and give to their citizens like healthcare and good social structure, it's these two countries. In my brain, it's difficult to see that like, oh yeah, you guys used to fight a lot. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And countries that used to fight a lot like this, they still hate each other these days. Most of them. You guys are making love to each other right now, Sweden and Denmark. And you were fighting not long ago. Which, again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Countries that are fighting each other right now, they are not going to be friends in 50, 100 years.
Denmark, Sweden
it's kind of
emerged as a
intriguing.
great power in Northern Europe. However, after its defeat in the Great Northern War against a combined force of Denmark, Russia, and Poland, Sweden lost most of its provinces on the other side of the Baltic Sea. Then, during the Napoleonic Wars, Sweden lost Finland to Russia. In 1810, a French marshal, Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte, was chosen as heir to the Swedish throne, taking the regnal.
That's the Bernadotte royal family. I don't think it's the one right now. I think they changed. Did they change the Bernadotte family? I've saw this in another video.
Name of Charles XIV.
Charles
During his
XIV.
reign, Sweden fought its one last war with the Norwegians, successfully ceding Norway to the empire. Norway, then, was forced into a personal union with Sweden in 1814, which was peacefully dissolved in 1905. However, overseas trade was hard hit by the Napoleon.
See, peacefully dissolve without a war. It's not like Norway, like Sweden just said, well, we're going to be allied forever, right? Is it Sweden that said like, oh, we're going to be allied together, so just become your country, we're still going to be friends and everything, instead of like fighting? I feel like Sweden was always trying to fight when it was necessary. Like, there was never like necessarily bad intention. Maybe I'm giving you guys too much credit, but I feel like you were very pragmatic in what you're
Napoleonic
trying to
Wars,
do.
leading to general stagnation and economic crisis in Sweden. By the late 19th century, 90% of the people still earned their livelihoods from agriculture.
Oh, wow, really? Wait, what?
Livelihoods from agriculture.
Huh. Just before in America, in Canada, we call that the Great Industrialization in the late 19th century, right? And it was the same in Sweden. I didn't know that. Damn, it's crazy. It's still the image of Sweden that was very different from what we know these days. And it was not long ago, right? It's crazy. The world has changed so much in the last 100 years. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy.
Sweden remained neutral throughout World War I, trading with both the Allied powers and the Central Powers. In response to Swedish trade with Germany, the Allies stopped a large percentage of Sweden's trade, causing a severe food shortage in Sweden. This eventually resulted in the replacement of Sweden's conservative government with a social democratic one. During the war, some Swedes also joined the White Guards with the Germans to fight against the Red Guards and Russians in the Finnish Civil War, and briefly occupied land against the Red Guards and Russians in the...
Wait, I'm fascinated by this flag. Why does the German flag look like a flag from like Iraq or something? And then you have the Finnish white with some kind of Bhutan or Nepal flag, like the animal, right? And then you have Soviet Russia with like the literature on it. And then the Finnish red and the Svenska Brigaden, the brigadier of Sweden. Huh. I never seen those flags, but it's interesting.
Finnish Civil War, and briefly occupied land jointly with the German Empire. However, Sweden ultimately withdrew following Finnish protests. At the outbreak of World War II in September 1939,
see, Sweden withdrew. Again, Sweden is taking the more pragmatic approach again.
Sweden again
Japan,
maintained its policy
Germany.
of neutrality.
Oh.
During the German invasion of the Soviet Union, Sweden allowed the Wehrmacht to use Swedish railways to transport the German troops and heavy weapons from Norway to Finland. For the Allies, Sweden helped to train soldier refugees from Denmark and Norway to be used in the liberation of their home countries.
Wow.
It also allowed the Allies to use Swedish air bases between 1944 and 1945.
Not really neutral.
Sweden
I feel like a lot of good happened after you guys changed the government to become more social democrat. A lot of good happened after that. It's crazy.
was one of the first non-participants of World War II to join the United Nations. During the post-war era, Sweden flourished in industry, facilitating the development of the social welfare system called folkhemmet, the people's home, a Swedish term for the Swedish welfare state or a Swedish model. However, by the 1970s, the economies of the rest of Western Europe were prosperous and growing rapidly, while the Swedish economy stagnated.
Wait, what is that flag on the top in the middle? It looked like the Italian flag, but why there's a crown and there's a Danish flag in the middle. And why the one in the bottom right look like some kind of Serbian king cross? Or maybe it's another country near that. What are those two flags? I know the other one, but...
During the Cold War, Sweden publicly maintained a strict neutrality policy and, at the same time, kept unofficially strong ties with the US, Norway, Denmark, West Germany, and other NATO countries. A few years after the end of the Cold War, Sweden became a member of the European Union. By 2000, compared to the rest of Europe, Sweden witnessed great economic growth with low unemployment and inflation rates. In 2018, the Social Democrats and Greens formed a minority government led by Prime Minister Stefan Löfven. After the resignation of Stefan Löfven, led by Prime Minister...
Wait a second. What is a minority government? Let me go back.
Economic growth with low unemployment and inflation rates.
That's good.
In 2018, the Social Democrats and Greens formed a minority government led by Prime Minister Stefan...
Does that mean like that both of them combined got 40% of the vote, but it was more than the second place, the third place? In Thailand, there's a similar... It's not like this. It need to be majority. So when there's like 10 or 20 different parties in Thailand, and when one win, whoever is first, second, third, you need to have party that come together to be at 50% plus. And it seemed like here they did not achieve 50% even by putting two together, but they were still able to be a government.
Löfven. After the resignation of Stefan Löfven, Finance Minister Magdalena Andersson became
the first ever Swedish Prime Minister, right?
Sweden's first female Prime Minister. She then formed a minority government made up of only her Social Democrats.
What is
Currently, Sweden possesses a highly developed economy and maintains an extensive social welfare system following the Nordic model. Sweden is also a member of the social welfare system following the Nordic model.
I think that you guys get back 80 cents on the dollar for your high tax. That's why I say a lot of countries like America, a lot of conservatives, they complain like, oh my God, yeah, we don't have free health care, but we don't pay 80 million % in tax like in Sweden. Well, the thing is, in Sweden, you get your money back from the tax that you pay. So you don't end up homeless, or you cannot take an ambulance to the hospital because you cannot pay the ambulance. In the US, you can pay 3,000 euros for an ambulance, to go to the hospital. And if you don't have it, they let you in the street. So it's really different, like, especially for the people that are at the bottom of the bracket, right?
Sweden is also a member of many organizations, such as the United Nations, the Nordic Council, the Council of Europe, the World Trade Organization, and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development.
Thanks for watching. If you find this information...
So I think I understand now. I mean, you guys are still neutral in 2026, right? When it comes to Trump and everything. Even though being neutral as a country doesn't mean that you don't have an opinion. If I ask you guys what you think of Trump and everything, you will probably say like, well, he's a maniac, but we want to stay out of what the US is doing, right? Because I think this is how you guys were successful ultimately, by remaining neutral, right? It doesn't mean that you don't build the Gripen and sell the Gripen to Thailand and other country, right? But you understand that this is a long play, right? And you need to remain pragmatic for your own people and the country surrounding you, your ally, and things like this. So I kind of respect that. So yeah, I've learned a lot, especially in the Danish influence, that for such a tiny, like, it's not big on the map. Sweden was much bigger historically, right? You guys did really good. You're doing everything right, and I feel like what you're doing right now is a continuity of what you were doing 100 years ago, 150 years ago, of that pragmatic neutrality. You're continuing in the same footstep, I feel like. So good job, guys. If there's more video like this, please let me know in the comment below. Yes.